Oh, what to do. Oh, I know. Maybe we can start able to bloom a lot of flowers based on from around of like, you know, like a puzzle minigame of any sorts, except we need able to take the watering can to those flower parts. Yeah, maybe we could do some gardening and stuff. Hey, what's up ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Pac-Man here once again, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Merxy Toys videos here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Wii Party for the Nintendo Wii. So I believe in last Sunday we did manage to able to play through marching orders, and overall it's actually quite a lot of fun, despite how difficult it was, and also it does remind me of Mario vs Donkey Kong 2, to be more specifically for this gameplay style and everything, except rather than using stylus for touchscreen controls, so instead use the Wii remote in the process. So today, for this video, is the fact that we are moving on to the final challenge minigame, and that's what it appears to be, Garden Gridlock. So yeah, if you're probably wondering, yeah, we'll skip those, the last two from the bottom, because, like I said before, it's two-player exclusive. So, place each Mii so that it will pick up a watering can and walk to a plant to make it bloom. Alrighty then, seems like very standard stuff. There are 30 stages in all. After you've cleared a stage, you can replay it whatever you want. Alrighty then, so basically you can able to save your progress if you somehow complete the stage and stuff like that. So, yeah, seems very standard stuff. Point the Wii remote at a Mii and press A to pick it and place it. To begin, point to play and press A. You know, think of like whenever you try to interact with the DVD menus for remote controls and stuff like that, including Blu-rays as well. So, oh, and every now and then with all the 4K Ultra HDs and stuff like that. So, anyway, so as you can see on screen, I did manage to somehow manage to already unlock stage 2 for a bit, but that's only mainly because I haven't been onto this mode for donkey's years either, so forgive me if I somehow managed to botch everything else up. So for the most part though, all you have to really do in this minigame right here is the fact that you have to place certain of your Miis in order able to actually, well, first of all, you need able to think carefully, especially noticeable, just think of strategic wise, so that way you can able to actually, well, the ultimate goal in this this particular minigame is the fact that you have to place certain Miis, and then your job is to simply, you need to obtain the watering can before you're able to actually water those plants, and if you do that, basically though, you will move on to the next level. So, but if not though, you get able to think of another strategy. So because of this though, as a result, as you can see, that I've somehow managed able to let those two Miis manage to grab these two watering cans individually, so that way it'll just simply just go. Well, it's hard to explain because it's been donkey's years since I actually last played this mode, like I said before, just because I'm more into the forms of Mario Party stuff, which I'll explain more about it until whenever we finish this Let's Play up entirely, which I'll give my final thoughts of it until specifically next week, so potentially to able to actually finish up this game. So anyway, so a few things we want to explain while this is going on. Today's date is of course the 23rd of July today, in this case in 2022 today, because originally, this is my second attempt, or actually kind of think about it, this is my third attempt for able to actually doing this particular recording session, because the first attempt, it was actually a pretty bad start because I said the wrong name, and as far as the second attempt goes, I've actually lost track of myself with the forms of that particular calendar of what today it is. Although, mind you, about the fact that until tomorrow anyway, that we should probably able to expect to be able to do a biggest video for the sake of the forms of this Let's Play. Although, mind you though, it might be kind of similar to, let's just say, Begonia Peak, second part for the sake of Mario Party 7. Actually, before I get into more details on that, nope, don't want to place you here, just right here. And of course, you can also just manage able to interact with all that different icons and stuff like that. Like, for example, if you all set with all that strategy does manage to work out, then you simply press play. However though, if you want to make things a bit tad more faster with all that walking animations and stuff like that, you can just simply able to actually just go fast forward if you decide able to do this. So, But if some things didn't work out, then also there's also the redo button here and there. So and I think also you can also decide able to actually just to well, turn the camera around by simply able to use the directional pad between left and right. And kind of think about it, there's also the zoom button between up and down. Well, for the most part we can't use it right now, because for the most part, the first few stages are actually more likely just zoomed in for the sake of the forms of certain stages so far. So relatively speaking though, that for the most part, the first few stages are overall pretty easy when you get the hang of it though, but eventually it gets a bit tougher as you progress. Mainly likely stage 21 all the way up to stage 30, so... And I think, kind of thinking about it though, is that just like the forms of how it does it on, let's just say a puzzle minigame from the likes of the forms of Super Mario Party, where you're able to drag those, let's just say like a sprite-based pieces, and then try to able to attach together. At least as far as I can recall that. Well, mind you, then again, it has been a very, very, very long time since I actually last played Super Mario Party, because after all, Mario Party Superstars is now taking over with all that, well, popularity, because obviously with online play and stuff like that. I could imagine about the fact that we can able to actually just decide able to mention about the actual unique sales numbers for the sake of the forms of certain Nintendo Switch games so far. But I think it's probably for the best they'll save it up and doing at some point until next month, which should be on August. So let's try this strategy to see how this works, because obviously if you let your me fall out of the course, basically you need to able to think carefully again. So yeah, it requires you to able to do a lot of memorization to think about, and also just think about just careful thinking. So yeah, that's basically how this minigame actually plays out to be. So as a result of that kind of stuff though, there's not much else to talk about, so... Although, kind of think about it though, is the fact that I can't even believe it's been about, I would classify for saying, almost a year ago, since when Tokyo 2021 Summer Olympics has been held, despite the fact that it's nowhere near as, like, epic than the forms of how it does it on the past few years, for the sake of the forms of, you know what I mean, with all that Summer Olympic celebrations, or just, you know, Summer Olympic games and stuff like that in general. Like, I do remember I was being so hyped about the forms of, well, Sonic did usually tell me for this once, that basically we were so hyped about the forms of, oh wow, that didn't work out. But luckily I can able to actually just, oh hold on a second, let me just drag Sonic all the way to that particularly, just one space in general, so I think that might actually classify as working. So yeah, I will try my best able to actually complete certain levels as quickly as possible, because I know for the fact that some players attempt to able to actually just make this particular minigame seems to be kind of lengthy sometimes. Well, mind you, it might not be too bad when you pretty much know the actual the layout and everything, but for those of you other newbies out there, or to be more specifically the first time players who ever experienced this minigame in general, sometimes it might give you some bit of struggles, so... But thankfully, if you have struggles with this particular, you know what I mean, Garden Gridlock, then you're in luck, because you're watching this right now. So, just to give you some classifications of where you're about to be able to play certain things throughout. So, yeah, that's basically how this goes. So, anyway, so stage 14 cleared, and we're now on to stage number 15, at least as far as I can usually tell for this point, because, well, I'm presuming to you that we're actually on to the halfway point at this point right now. Well, almost anyway, so, oh, and another thing I would like to mention about this as well, that, relatively speaking, when it comes to the forms of everything else I would like to explain, I was originally going to be able to be super hyped about everything for the sake of the forms of, well, I think I should let Maxi will able to mention more details about that if he ever goes back onto Super Mario 3D All-Stars, specifically Super Mario Galaxy as for this point. Again, until specifically it will happen, until specifically on this September coming up, while, you know what I mean, Splatoon 3 will be launching, so either way though, because chances are though, it might take a bit of some time to able to just think about the forms of uploading schedules during that time, because as far as I'm aware, recently, me, Ray, and Mighty have finally managed to return back onto The Simpsons Hit and Run. And like, I'm gonna say this right about now, I'm very glad I managed to come back into it, because, well, it has been quite a few weeks, or to be more specifically for this matter, it's been about 2 months ago since we actually last uploaded the forms of The Simpsons Hit and Run. That's only mainly because a lot of fans out there are really hoping that we can able to return back into the game again, which we certainly did, and it certainly is worth it. Especially that, well, kind of thinking about it though, I think potentially speaking, that alongside with this, along with The Simpsons Hit and Run, and potentially speaking, with alongside with the forms of Banjo-Kazooie Grunty's Revenge, that Tiana, she's still working on it, that basically we might as well able to complete those 3 games, maybe at some point by the end of this entire month, if possible. So, yeah, that might seems reasonable, especially noticeable we're actually getting pretty close towards the end of those 3 Let's Plays in particular. Well, despite the fact that we're still holding up one in particular Let's Play we still need to hold up for, that's of course, like I said before, Super Mario 3D All-Stars, because we only got 1 game left, so, and that will be about it basically, so. Anyway, so let's go and place those 2 Miis right here. I'm pretty sure this will work. Although, mind you, because as you can see, we've now stumbled across ourselves the actual spring contraption, so, which basically allows certain Miis to able to go to the other side. So, yeah, that basically summarizes it such. So, yeah, there are quite a few obstacles you can able to actually interact with, such as, for instance, with all that. Those arrow pads that it allows you to let those Miis go force to able to actually go into certain directions of that arrow pads, and there's also the forms of those teleporters, alongside with the forms of the changing arrow switches, which allows you to able to change the actual directions of when the switch has been active, and there's also the forms of the glass floor, which every time when certain Miis walks onto the actual the glass floor, basically it'll start to crack, but then if the actual second Mii goes through the actual glass floor, it will crack and it will become broken, and then as a result, it allows one of those Miis to fell into the actual fell through the actual course or something. So yeah, that basically is as far as I can describe about this. Although, until specifically the next couple of stages later, although mind you, I'll explain more on that in a moment, because let me try to think of something here. Let me see. I guess I'll pick... let's just say you right here, right next to the spring. Tiana will be here, and Waluigi will be right next to Tiana, so... yeah, it doesn't matter which way those Miis are going to be placed. Although, you need to pay attention to where they're facing, so just in case you won't be able to easily lose track of yourself. So, that might be the ultimate key factor about this. So, there we go. That's it for stage number 23, and now we're on stage 24, and this is where we now start to introduce into ourselves the flamethrowers. And how do you get rid of the flamethrower? Well, you notice there's actually a switch up there, so we need to let one of those Miis activate one of those flamethrower switches, and if you do, then chances are you'll make it through. However, if not, then you have to think of the strategy again. So, but thankfully, it doesn't require you to be able to involve around on luck, so at least it's more likely strategy based, so, or should I say, skill based, so, which I appreciate it, so. Alright, so we'll place Pinkie Pie right here, and we'll place Mario just about here, and lastly that random guy just in here, and let's see how this puzzle's gonna turn out. So, looks like it's going pretty smoothly, so either way though, not too shabby. Alright, so I think we've only got about 5 stages to go, I should say. Sorry for a little bit of a tongue twist in the end, folks, so I do apologize for that. So, and now we have a feature that we know it can actually zoom, or likely zoom in or zoom out. But honestly, I don't think I can probably use that, honestly. So, let's place you here. And we'll place Joy just about here. And another random Mii somewhere. Maybe here? I don't know, we'll give it a go. See how that's gonna, like, plays out. So, and it looks like it's gonna work quite well. So, not too shabby as well. So, yeah, we'll fast forward here, just in case we really weren't able to get the thing moving, so... Alright, 27th stage, or should I say, stage 27, so... Oh, jeez. So it looks like that it's gonna be filled to the brim with all that different contraptions, and let me think of something here. I was maybe wondering, maybe I can probably able to... Oh jeez, maybe place Sonic just about... Although, by the way, you can't actually place those certain Miis on those specific pads, so you have to place them onto those plain tiles, so that's something worth noting for the sake of, like, how this thing's gonna work out and stuff. Ah, that didn't work, because that arrow just goes me to back and forth on that particular glass floor, so we need to think of something a little bit different. So, in fact, kind of think about it, I think it might be something to do with, like, let me think of something. We'll place Sonic just about, maybe over here? Why don't we try that? Because that way, I'm pretty sure it allows Sonic to able to activate the actual change direction switch, so I think that does it for this point. So, yeah, there it goes. So we're just gonna have to watch one of those female Miis to water the plant, and that does it. So I believe the final 3 stages are going to be pretty tough, so, because now, we actually now have 3 Miis to able to think of strategy-wise, and as far as I'm aware, there's a flamethrower in there as well, so, yeah, we'll place you just here, and as far as the 3rd Mii is concerned, we'll place you right here, right next to that spring, so, and I'm hoping this will work, so... And luckily though, that somehow that one of the Miis did somehow stand completely still from that particular glass floor tile. That basically it does not get a crack or anything, so... Alright, stage 29, so let's see. Let me just rotate the camera for a bit so I can get ourselves a much more better view. So we'll place you right here, and we'll place you over towards somewhere around here, and finally for you I'll place you right next to where the arrow pad was. So and there's also the forms of a forced like an arrow platform, so that way you can able to actually change the directions for this point. You know, it does kind of remind me of a little bit from Super Mario 64, or to be more specifically though, is the fact that the entire mode, I think I might as well mention this anyway. This entire minigame does remind me of a little bit, for the sake of the forms of Mario and Donkey Kong minis on the move for the Nintendo 3DS. So, because obviously it's like grid-based and stuff, so... And it looks like we're on to the final stage in terms of Garden Gridlock, and I think it suffices to say, we'll place you right here. And as far as for you, you'll be right over there. And finally, for you might as well be just about right here. So, I think this should be all set. So, yeah, because I've got my clever brain and stuff like that to able to figure this out. But, again, sometimes if you have a first time playing this though, then it might give you some bit of struggles on this. So, but again, thankfully though, is the fact that there's actually a save progression system, so that way, if you having struggling with this particular minigame as it is, then thankfully though, that the game automatically saves if you try to get back into your resuming point. So, there we go. That basically wraps it up for Garden Gridlock. I found it was actually a pretty fun single player experience minigame, so yeah, that's actually pretty swell I have to say. So, but if you obviously select play again, as you can see, then basically you can able to actually replay certain stages as you want. So, which is always nice if you ask me, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, as I said, you can able to actually resume your progress if you eventually come back into this. So, yeah, I guess that's pretty much as far as I can say in terms of Garden Gridlock. So, yeah, that basically summarizes it such. And I think that pretty much concludes the rest of the challenge modes. So, I will say, the biggest highlight for me though is definitely Garden Gridlock alongside with marching orders, and probably the forms of shifty gifts as well. As far as the other two goes, as far as what I played, one of them I'm not very great at it though, and the other one I'm pretty decent at it, aside from the fact that with how competitive it was, that I'm very great at it though, but still. Sometimes you have to rely on the forms of the artificial intelligence behavior, or to be more specifically the AI's behavior, for about face of the competitive side. But regardless of such though, I had a lot of fun with this. So anyways, let's go back, and suffice to say, we've only got one more game mode left before we move on to the actual closing video at some point in next week. And suffice to say, we'll pretty much get the endings of this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Wii Party. And this is going to be a big one, because tomorrow we're going to be hit off to the solo mode. In this case, the true minigame endurance test, for the sake of the forms of the single player experience. So wish me luck on this part, because I'm going to be focusing on expert mode. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for that. Later, fellas.